Banjoed wire, improper connectors, and reverse polarity are common electrical issues often encountered when inspecting or repairing work done by homeowners. Let's break down each of these problems and discuss how to address them correctly. Firstly, banjoed wire refers to non-metallic sheet cable, often called Romex, that is loosely draped or sagging between supports, typically across joists in an unfinished basement or attic. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, requires that wiring be supported to prevent strain on connections and to protect the cable from physical damage. Specifically, NEC Section 334.30 addresses securing and supporting non-metallic sheathed cable. The code states that non-metallic sheathed cable must be secured by staples, cable ties, straps, or similar fittings designed and installed so as not to damage the cable. Cables must be secured within 12 inches of boxes, cabinets, fittings, and other cable terminations, and must be supported at intervals not exceeding 4½ feet. When running cable horizontally through framing members, such as joists or studs, it must be supported according to the same rules. However, if the cable is fished through walls or ceilings, or run in conduit, these support requirements may not apply. The problem with banjoed wire is multifold. 1. Sagging cables are more susceptible to physical damage from objects bumping into them or being hung on them. 2. The weight of the unsupported cable can put stress in the connections at the electrical boxes, potentially leading to loose connections or even broken wires. 3. It looks unprofessional and can raise concerns during a home inspection. To correct banjoed wire, you need to properly support the cable. This involves using appropriate fasteners such as insulated staples, cable ties, or cable straps. When using staples, be careful not to drive them in too tightly, as this can damage the cable insulation and create a potential shock hazard. Cable ties are a good option for bundling multiple cables together or for supporting cables in tight spaces. Cable straps are typically used to secure cables to flat surfaces. Ensure that you are following the NEC guidelines for spacing the supports no more than 4½ feet apart and within 12 inches of boxes or terminations. Secondly, improper connectors are another common issue. When installing or extending electrical circuits, it's crucial to use the correct type of connector for the application. This includes using the right type of connector for joining wires together inside electrical boxes, as well as for connecting cables to boxes. Common mistakes include using wire nuts that are too small or too large for the number and gauge of wires being joined, not twisting the wires together tightly enough before applying the wire nut, or failing to use connectors specifically listed for the type of cable being used. The NEC has specific requirements for making electrical connections. Section 110.14 covers electrical connections in general, requiring that they be made so that the completed connection is mechanically and electrically sound. Section 314.16 specifies the number and size of conductors permitted in outlet, device, and junction boxes based on the box volume and the wire gauge. In metal boxes, such as old workgem boxes, it is essential to use connectors that properly clamp the cable to the box and provide strain relief. This prevents the cable from being pulled out of the box, which could damage the connections or create a shock hazard. These connectors are typically referred to as cable clamps or Romex connectors. They are designed to secure the cable to the box without damaging the cable insulation. Using the wrong type of connector can have serious consequences. Loose connections can cause arcing, which can lead to fires. Overfilled boxes can overheat and create a fire hazard. Improperly secured cables can be pulled out of boxes, exposing live wires. To correct improper connector issues, you need to replace the incorrect connectors with the appropriate ones. Ensure that you are using wire nuts that are sized correctly for the number and gauge of wires being joined. Twist the wires together tightly before applying the wire nut and make sure that the wire nut is securely tightened. When connecting cables to metal boxes, use cable clamps or Romex connectors that are designed for that purpose. These connectors typically have a screw or clamp that tightens around the cable, securing it to the box. Thirdly, reverse polarity is a dangerous condition where the hot and neutral wires are reversed at an outlet or other electrical device. This means that the device is energized even when it is switched off, creating a shock hazard. Reverse polarity can also damage electronic equipment and cause other electrical problems. The NEC requires that electrical circuits be wired with the correct polarity. Section 200.10 covers identification of grounded conductors, requiring that the grounded conductor on neutral wire be identified by a continuous white or grey covering. Section 200.11 specifies that the grounded conductor must be connected to the identified terminal on receptacles and other devices. When wiring an outlet, the hot wire, which is typically black or red, should be connected to the brass screw terminal. The neutral wire, which is white, should be connected to the silver screw terminal. The ground wire, which is green or bare, should be connected to the green screw terminal or grounding clip. Reverse polarity is often caused by incorrect wiring at the outlet, but it can also be caused by incorrect wiring at the electrical panel or at other points in the circuit. It is essential to use a circuit tester to check the polarity of outlets after they have been wired. A circuit tester will indicate whether the outlet is wired correctly or whether the hot and neutral wires are reversed. If you find an outlet with reverse polarity, you need to correct the wiring immediately. This involves turning off the power to the circuit at the electrical panel, removing the outlet from the box, and reversing the hot and neutral wires. Make sure that the wires are securely connected to the correct terminals and then reinstall the outlet in the box. After correcting the wiring, use a circuit tester to verify that the outlet is now wired correctly. In summary, addressing banjoed wire, improper connectors, and reverse polarity requires a thorough understanding of the NEC and proper wiring techniques. Always prioritize safety and consult with a qualified electrician if you're unsure about any aspect of the electrical work.